So today I'd like to do a video concerning Jesus' use of personal pronouns in relation to speaking of those who are in the womb or those who come into the world, and show that in fact Jesus did see those in the womb as being persons, which would of course support the pro-life position, and which we believe as born again Christians that the Bible supports a pro-life position. So first of all, when we talk about personal pronouns, as you know, we're talking about things like using I or he or she or we or them or they or their, things like this. So let's go ahead and just look at a handful of verses when Jesus is speaking about those in the womb or those coming into the world. So the first reference, John 18:37. Here Jesus is being questioned by Pilate. Pilate therefore said unto him, Art thou a king then? Jesus answered, Thou sayest that I am a king. To this end was I born, and for this cause came I into the world. So notice here the language that Jesus said, I was born, that the personhood precedes the actual birth. For this cause I came into the world. So he was a person, right, before he was actually born. Let's look at the next reference, Matthew 19:12. Jesus speaking here, for there are some eunuchs which were so born from their mother's womb, and there are some eunuchs which were made eunuchs of men, and there be eunuchs which have made themselves eunuchs for the kingdom of heaven's sake. So taking a look at that phrase, it says, which were so born from their mother's womb. Eunuchs, that is typically these eunuchs in the ancient world would be castrated, wouldn't have their sexual organs functional. And so those people were so born from their mother's womb. Look at the word there. There's the personal pronoun, their mother's womb. So they're persons before they're actually born. Next reference, Matthew 26:24. The Son of Man goeth as it is written of him, but woe unto that man by whom the Son of Man is betrayed. It had been good for that man if he had not been born. So Jesus is referring to Judas here, who would betray him. So good for that man if he had not been born. So he was a he before he was born. Again, personhood preceding birth. Luke 7:28. Jesus said, For I say unto you, among those that are born of women, there is not a greater prophet than John the Baptist, but he that is least in the kingdom of God is greater than he. So among those that are born of women, those, referring to the people, referring to men, there's not a greater than John the Baptist. John 16:21. Jesus speaking, a woman, when she is in travail, has sorrow, because her hour is come, but as soon as she is delivered of the child, she remembereth no more the anguish for joy that a man is born into the world. So again, that person, a man is born into the world. The manhood preceded the birth. So therefore showing that, of course, those that are in the womb are persons, supporting the pro-life position which the Bible presents. So the implication of this message then is, if you are a person who is pro-life, thank God for that. And if you have never been born again, because Jesus, of course, did teach that a man must be born again, that you would call upon the name of the Lord and that you would be born again. If you're one of these religious people, or maybe you're a secular person and believes that that Jesus never taught a pro-life position, or that you can be a so-called Christian and still be pro-abortion. That's not possible. Jesus didn't give room for a pro-abortion type of thinking in his teachings and the words he used. He clearly believed that we are persons from the womb. So I pray that you would consider those texts, and may God bless you. Thank you.